Bismillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ورضي الله تعالى عن السادة التابعين وعلماء العاملين وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلديهم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. You know what time it is. Share, like, love, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share. Show us some social media algorithm love. Let's get these numbers up. Alhamdulillah. Share. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Zakaria. Muhammad Ali. What's DXB? Giving the greetings from DXB. What is DXB? I'm kind of slow. Samira ain't give me the coffee yet, so I'm kind of slow right now. I don't know what DXB is. While we're waiting to find out what DXB is, share. Oh, Dubai. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Welcome. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Idris, alhamdulillah. Marhaban. Welcome. Alhamdulillah. That's right. Get the numbers up. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Farouk. Kareem in the building. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's right. Come on in. Khalifa, Allahu Akbar. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's right. Alhamdulillah. Isa, Allahu Akbar. I got to send you a message tonight, Isa. I got a question for you. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See, Samira not even here. She doing her, late thing. You know how she be doing, always late and stuff. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Felicia. I am glad you all are here. Tonight's show topic is one of my wife's picking. She picked the topic for our show tonight. Alhamdulillah. Is anybody still having bad weather? Wa alaikum salam, Fareed. Abu Muhammad, wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What is this? Raw pine needle tea is my new drink of choice. Okay, tell me about it. This new raw pine needle tea. Oh, it's bad weather? What's going on? It's been kind of cloudy. Looked like it was about to do something. It rained a little bit, but not like yesterday. Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Malik. Alhamdulillah, I just saw today Malik was live. He was introducing to us his class that he's going to be starting at Masjid Muhammad in, was that Germantown? North Philly, Germantown somewhere? Yeah, if you in Philadelphia during this class, what time is that class? I didn't catch the whole thing. Whenever Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaat are teaching, we need to support. So if you're in Philly, show up live for the class. If you're not, he's going to be streaming live. Okay, she finally finished the coffee. She finally finished, so that we should be seeing her soon. Alhamdulillah. Yes, it's still raining heavy here in New York. SubhanAllah. I don't, sometimes when you're busy and, your schedule's all just just not even discombobulated, just combobulated, just all over the place. You don't plug in. Is there a hurricane or something that we feeling a part of or something? What's going on with this weather? Is it a huge storm system that's touching everybody? What's going on? Because I don't know what it is. I haven't had a chance to watch the news. So much stuff going on and stuff. Speaking of drinks, I need to ask my brother if he is ready for the demand. Yes. I hope he's bringing, or you're bringing, enough, because you sell out every time you come through. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Amina or Abdul Rashid, or both of you, whoever that is. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Abdul Rahim. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Khadija. Watching live from upstairs. Allahu Akbar. Class after Maghrib, alhamdulillah. 7:30 every Friday. Okay, it's once a week. Okay, every Friday. Masjid Muhammad, Germantown. That masjid always showed us a lot of love. Imam Sutrudeen up there. May Allah reward him. Alhamdulillah. It's about to come down here to Delaware and Philly. Pine needles, which is known to improve healthy immune support, is from northern white pine trees. Come on, Samira, all that bumbling around and stuff, we can hear you. All up on the live broadcast. No picture, plenty of audio. I muted you. It's all gray. So, Khalifa, those pine needles, they can come from any pine tree? We said northern white pine trees. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sakina, Nadira. See, man, you come to Kansas, you can enjoy 90-degree, plenty of sunshine. See, I like that kind of stuff. See, me, I'm the type of person, like, for example, when I go to Africa, people go, oh, Africa hot, right? I'd rather be sitting there sweating, and I sweat anyway. My body runs hot. I sweat anyway. It could be wintertime, and I'll be sweating. I don't care about sweat. As long as I'm a sweat rag, I'm cool. I'd rather be sweating than freezing. That's just me. Okay, the Imam is passing a lot of responsibility. He's talking about Imam Suchuddin, Master Muhammad. Is passing a lot of responsibility to his son, and the youth are stepping up, make dua for the community. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that masjid has always been like real progressive and always trying to do programs and outreach and, you know, not just classes, khutbahs, and prayers. They always try to do different stuff. So, alhamdulillah. Okay, you could talk now, Samira, if you're ready. You know. Oh, you're not ready? You're just going to pretend like you're cleaning off your camera? That's what you're going to do?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see all of y'all out here. MashaAllah. So I had this tape on my camera for security reasons. I noticed that whenever I log into Google, the camera light comes on. And I don't be covered at all. So I know our phones can do the same thing and have the same capabilities, but at least my laptop alerts me that the camera just comes on for some reason. So I keep that up there until I have to use it, like for the show. MashaAllah.
I do the same thing, you know, but see, I use black tape. See, Samira, I mean, come on, man. You doing all that stuff, man. It's supposed to be black, man. Everything's supposed to be black, even your tape.
I got on black.
Nah, but you ain't got no black tape. I seen that white tape and stuff you had over there.
I had to grab something grab something real quickly. I usually have my tape. It's somewhere around here somewhere.
Nah, man.
Anyway,
we supposed to be black all the way, even the tape.
Even the tape. MashaAllah. So, usually in the beginning of the show, I do a little current events, and there's something. There's one thing that I did want to discuss, and I think I mentioned it last week.
Okay, permission granted. You can discuss it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. I'm back. I got my black tape.
Hey, just real quick, I'm going to step away from the computer for a minute because I forgot to get something out the car and I want to get it before I forget. So
okay. Right. So last week I had mentioned some things, and I think I did mention this particular thing is about Bill Cosby's release. Yes, I did mention that last week, if y'all remember, that was mentioned. And some of you may say, well, how is this relevant to us as Muslims? And we should not, when it comes to social issues, we should not differentiate about whether a person is Muslim or not. The point that I wanted to bring up is how the ones that prosecuted him and those Uncle Toms and Tomettes that tried to justify them prosecuting them, like they're contradicting their story. And not really contradicting. When you make rules or laws, they're bound to be broken. So any rules or laws that are put into place, we think that's set in stone. That's farthest from the truth. And how they try to justify it is trying to say, well, he did admit it. So let me ask you this question. Did you read the deposition, what he said exactly? And I haven't read it. But I've heard from people that said they did read it, and that was furthest from the truth, that he did not say that. They twisted his word. And then number two, Judge Joe Brown was giving it to, I think his name is Mark Hill or somebody, some some coon. I forgot his name, but he tried to say, yes, we understand what the law says, right? But the court of the court of public opinion, the moral aspect of it. When do the moral aspect of it come into play when it comes to due process? When did that come into play? They say they don't have a place. But here, Mark Hill, it doesn't have a place. Everything is about what the law says, right? Everything's about the law, right? That's what they say, right? But in this case, they just did what they normally do. They took the law and just says, okay, this is how we're going to work it. I had this idea that they knew they wasn't supposed to prosecute him, but they did it anyway just to smear him and smear his legacy. They did it anyway. They knew they wasn't supposed to. It ain't like these people are stupid. They know what they're doing. They make the laws. But they did that so that his name is smeared. Now, in my opinion, Bill Cosby's name is smeared with black people and white people. If you remember, back in the day, I think in the 90s, Naeem, if you could remember, he used to talk about, how black men need to pull their pants up and how they supposed to act and all this stuff, right? Do you remember that, E-Ma'am?
I don't remember when he said it, but I remember recently people talking about it and seeing video clips of him talking about it. But no, I don't remember at the time that he said it, but I know about it, yeah.
I remember, and they were hot. They was like, how are you going to throw our dirty laundry out there? So, he don't really have any allies, but I did want to say this. This could have been one of us. They do to us all the time, make up the rules. And they do whatever they want to. But even though they have that ability Allah gave them, you don't lose hope. You still keep fighting, and you stand for truth, regardless, despite who is it against. Now, whether he did it with these, what they accuse him, he said that what he did, we know that he had extramarital affairs. We know that. What happened exactly, we don't know. And because they told him whatever he said in that deposition will not be held against him, we don't know what he said. So everybody got an opinion. And then somebody made a point, well, how all them women said the same exact thing? Every single one of them said the same exact thing. How can it be a lie? Like it's a mutawatir. Like it was mutawatir between the women. And the clapback was they all were represented by the same law firm. How would they have the same story, dummy? You gotta lose your common sense. And that's what I wanted to bring up. Don't lose your common sense. It's a loss of that. That's like a lost gift right now. Common sense. If you notice that your common sense is leaving you, you better retrieve it. You better go chase after it. Because that's what's going to save a lot of us.
People that use their common sense these days, they're like geniuses. Like whenever somebody expresses something that's just real common sense, if you think about it, people be like, oh, wow. Like, oh, wow. That's profound. No, that's common sense. Y'all just don't use that too much no more. Common sense got played out. So I used to re-ride with Heathcliff. We just don't drink with that.
So, and then somebody was also making the point, and I'm purposely not saying their names. They say all these young ladies came up and testified. They were like, wait a minute, these are old ladies. They're like 70. So the narrative, if you don't use your common sense, you would think these are young women. And because they say it that way, we don't like to research. We don't like to investigate. We don't like to question. They're like, oh, all those young ladies, look what he did to them young ladies. That was like before I was born.
Yeah, they was young and he was young at the time that it happened, right? Like a lot of times we don't recognize smooth talking when it's being done to us. And they are relying on the fact that some of us will just be outraged by the notion of what's being alleged to have had happened, right? So they expect you to be triggered and to forget about all the details. How can he do that? And I actually seen some people like this too, like somebody on my friends list. And it was weird because like one particular day, we don't even hardly ever interact with each other, but it just seems like this person just kept popping up on my timeline on other people's. Did that ever happen to you? People you not friends with, but your friend comment on their page and they say such and such commented on it. On their page, it happened to me. Like, why am I seeing this person do? And they'll say at the top of the stat on your timeline, such and such commented on it. And for like one whole day, I kept seeing this one person comment on a whole bunch of different people's page. And it was the same person, and it was all about Bill Cosby. It was like, oh, I don't care what happened, what he say. Just because it's a technicality, that don't mean he ain't guilty. And this person was going in on every person's page. I was like, subhanAllah. This stuff must really hit home for this person because they're ignoring a whole lot of facts just to, like.
And it wasn't a technicality. Technicality meaning there's something that is an anomaly. This was like straightforward. It wasn't no technicality. It wasn't like missing paperwork. It wasn't, misspelled words on the documents. It was nothing like that. They made a promise and they withheld it and they went to persecute him. So I would like to hear what he say. If anybody know where that deposition is, they have a copy of it, PDF online, put it in the chat box because I want to read it for myself. I don't want to go by what they say.
Like it's not a secret. The deposition's been made public. We don't have to guess what he said or what he could have said, what he did, what he said he did, and all that stuff. It's out there. It's just that people know that the average person ain't gonna be checking into all that.
That's the point. They don't like to research. They don't like to question. They don't like to use critical thinking. But I just want to put it out there because it could be one of us. You understand? Like you can be accused of something, and they ride it all the way through. You may find yourself on death row or something, or with a life term sentence because of something that you didn't do. And they just wanted to change the rules on you. So this here, we have to, be mindful. This is serious. This is real. Let's see. What Imam Fahim said, the Spanish fly of Bill's Day is the Henny of today that people be celebrating, while it's the same sick culture. What's the difference in the culture of buying her a drink, giving her a pill? We both have the same objective. We both have the same objective. Yep.
Yeah, just like a lot of like Imam Fahim said, like in those days it was Quaaludes and the drinking and the cocaine and stuff. Nowadays it's Molly's and Henny and all that stuff. And just like Imam Fahim said, like a lot of these women today, they take that conscious themselves, right? Like, hey, let's do it together, right? It was the same way back then. Just the drug was different.
SubhanAllah, may Allah protect us from that. I mean, and may Allah protect the believers that are suffering from that sickness, because that's not something. That's another social disease that our ummah suffers from, that we try our best to ignore because we don't want to be associated with that. It's in our communities. I have a question. I was asking asking the Imam about. I remember there was like an Islamic like NA or AA, because these NAs that they running now, these major organizations, is Christian based. So they make, Christian prayers in there. And if you're a non-Christian, you know, how do you really benefit from that? But where is it? Like, where's these, you know, chapters? Like, how do you start it? Like, we need to, you know, this is serious. Because you hear about the opioids, opiate pandemic, right? They call it an opiate pandemic when we had crack
The,
era.
the word
That
the
wasn't a
word that you were stumbling over and tripping in your mouth and flim flamming is opioid.
opioid,
Opioid. Three syllables.
opioid.
Stay with me now.
But you know,
Opioid.
I'm serious. Like, I don't know of one here in Pittsburgh. I would really like to know, like, where are these places for Muslims to go to? Because just like I said that the Christians have these NAs and AAs and what have you, that there need to be a Muslim-based kind so that the Muslim can at least get that support, you know, physically, spiritually, and mentally, from Islamic, you know, perspective. I think that would make a world of difference, you know. So if
I'll
anybody
put
know,
it
like,
up on the screen. Back in the day, at least like in the mid 90s, Muslims came together and tried to make an Islamic version of like these 12-step programs called Milati Islami, right? Uh, I know they had a chapter here in Pittsburgh. I don't know how active it is or what. Imam Fahim mentions it here. He said, yes, it's called Milatu Islami. We used to sponsor the meetings at our masjid.
like, we need the blueprint, like how that goes. Because I noticed, from my understanding, like, you have to be someone with that background to be like a counselor and things like that. I would like to know, like, how do you start one where, you know, Muslims can find that, how they can be referred. Like, this is real in our community, more than we want to admit. Okay, more than we want to admit, and it's no shame if you're trying to get help with it. None of us is perfect. Some of us, you know, are undercover alcoholics. You know, they're the sweetest person, but they may be drinking, but they don't bring it around the Muslims. That's how it used to be. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, a lot of Muslims, like a lot of people are addicted to different types of pills. A lot of people are addicted to different type of street drugs.
And
Different uh,
different
pharm-
stuff.
pharmaceutical drugs, alcohol. Muslims are dealing with it.
Sex, because addiction is a whole bunch of vices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maladi Islamic World Services. Imam Fahim, do you know where they're located? Like a headquarters? Is it like a headquarters for that someone can contact? Because I really would like to know about this. Nadir said there's something in Atlanta. My ex-husband was a counselor and told me about it.
They need something in Atlanta.
Wa
They
alaikum salam to Katu,
just
Sister
throwing a
Al
little,
Rakia.
just throwing a little shade at Atlanta. They,
You a mess.
they need
Uh,
they need some stuff there.
Sister Sophia. I seen some people coming in. Somebody else. I think it was Farouk. I think I saw him too. Wa alaikum salam to Katu. Subhanallah. But yes, but this is not our topic for today. But these are things that we have to discuss because it affects the family. It affects the family, which in turn affects the community. So we're not, you know, we're not immune to this stuff. But anyway, to the topic for today, we're not holding y'all all night like we usually do. We're not trying to compete with Imam
Whoa,
Amin
whoa,
and
whoa,
his,
whoa.
you
You
know,
said you said
tell
like we usually do. Like you usually
his
do.
marathon of post Asa, Fajr, Isha, Duha.
Soon Imam Amin is going to have to. He's going to have to put commas in the title. Post Fajr, comma, Duha, comma, Dhur, scattered reflections.
But
Okay,
yeah.
introduce our topic, Habibi. Bismillah.
Bismillah. So this topic, it's essential for us as being African Americans, whether you call yourself African American, Black, Foundation American, descendants of slaves. We have a culture, and
You throwing out titles? Don't forget more.
Oh, more science tech, but that one, the Moors. Oh, Moors, right? I'm not probably forgetting a whole bunch, but we have a culture as a people, but we haven't really like taken advantage of it or propagate it too much. So we, in turn, try to take up other cultures. Like we want everybody else's cultures to be our own. Well, we have our own, and we lose out on that spiritual aspect because everything is not just tangible. There's a spiritual aspect, just like the Deen of Islam. It's not just tangible. It's a spiritual aspect. Shukran, Imam Fahim. And so when it comes to our culture, no one's running to us and say, okay, what do African American Muslims, what do they have? How do they, celebrate? What is it that they, is specific for them? You can't even really name that. And so this got us to thinking that we need to have our own culture. And this is not something to contradict what is in place, we're being Muslims. But no, just having things in place so that we are self-identified with that and people recognize that. Every other group has a culture within their group and people recognize it. But as far as the African American Muslims, African American in whole, you can't identify it. There's like stereotypes, like black people like watermelon, fried chicken, right? Those, I don't say condescending because I like watermelon and watermelon chicken, fried chicken, but
And you like fried chicken.
and
Don't leave that out.
I like fried chicken.
You remember we went for a minute without fried chicken? Remember how you was acting?
I know, right?
Do I need to remind the audience? Or not like remind, but expose you to the audience?
I said I like it.
No, you more than like it. There's some fried chicken around here.
And so we need to be proud of who we are. Like we have a plate. We like for the last it has been going on, but we've been, and I'm just saying from the platform here on Nurzaman Radio, Nurzaman Institute, the platform Masjid Muhammad of AC have been pushing this, like we got to have something for ourselves. And if you think about it, we're not working towards that. We're not working towards it enough that if we were to drop dead right now, what will be left for our children? What institutions will they be able to go to and say, my mom, my dad, my uncles, aunts, grandmother, grandfather built this right here, so I'm going to step in and make sure that this thing keeps rolling? Ask yourself that. If you were to drop dead right now, what is it left for you? What would represent you? What legacy have you worked towards to establish for your children, your grandchildren? You can't answer that. So that's why when we have the Black Imams Roundtable on Tuesday, it's like pulling teeth. To give $10, $5, to try to get $500. You got hosts of organizations. It's not a thing for them to drop $1,000 in the pot whenever they are asked. But you ask some black folk, well, this is for you. Nah, it's not benefiting me right now. I don't need that right now. This is how we think. It's not benefiting me right now. Like, I'm not old yet, and I'm not ready for all that right now. I'm trying to, acquire what I'm trying to acquire right now, whatever it is. I'll get to it when I get to it. And that's what's messing us up. In our marriages, we have the same mindset. We treat our marriages like we're eloping in Las Vegas. Come on, let's just do it. Let's do it. right? No witnesses. Let's just go. We treat it like it's some kind of crime. We don't treat it in a manner that this is an event that should be celebrated by everyone. We do it in secret, covert. You making sure that certain people don't know. You moving funny when you try to. What kind of barakah are you expecting that marriage? Wa alaikum salam, talabikatu. Kwame and brother Farouk. I know you said my brother. I'm here too. Like my salam talabikatu. We just.
No, I think he was replying to someone else.
Someone else? Oh, okay.
And
Wa alaikum
salam, Brianna.
Sister Brianna. Thank you for joining us. But this is how we operate. We don't operate like we're coming together to build a foundation for our families, to establish Islam in our household and in the community at large so that future generations can benefit. We don't even think that far. Oh, I'm about to get them panties. Oh, I'm about to get that eggplant. That's all. That's how far our minds be thinking sometimes.
What's eggplant?
Eggplant.
Wa alaikum salam, Baron. Alhamdulillah.
Wa alaikum salam talabikatu, Brother Baron. Talk to me, y'all. If you were to drop dead right now, what have you established? What are you establishing? Because life is going to end for us. We're not promised to live tomorrow or the next minute. Talk to me, family. This is serious. This is serious.
You know, as an imam and someone that does counseling, one of the things that I made a little note to myself. Mm-hmm. I didn't write it down anyway. Just something I made a little mental note of. A lot of times when sisters bring forward a complaint against their husband, one of it's not usually the primary, complaint. Like say if a sister claims that she's been putting up with a lot and she has a list of issues with her husband. Often, not all the time, but often, sometimes a sister will say something like, I never got a wedding. And I'm like, what do you mean you never got a wedding? You married, right? And a lot of times, especially if the sisters don't know the deen, I guess we are. I went to the place, we went there, and the imam, he said some stuff in Arabic, and he said we was married, right? Mm-hmm. And so some sisters can express it, some really can't. But what a lot of them are saying is, I didn't get what in my mind is a proper wedding. There was no ceremony. It was, a lot of times women want memorable experiences. They want to say, on this day, I married my husband. But as Muslims, Black Muslims, I don't like saying really African American. I just put that in the title because that's what we're used to. And plus, Black can apply to a lot of stuff, a large group of people. And I'm not talking about all Black people. I'm specifically talking about Black Muslims, who have the North American experience, right? A lot of times we deprive our wives of that experience. And usually, like I said in my earlier class, in our Wathikatul Ikhwan class, usually from my experience, and I know there's exceptions, but from my observation, from my vantage point, I see us Muslims in America, Black Muslims, we usually go to two extremes in our marriage ceremonies. One extreme, our wedding look exactly like a Christian wedding. It could be, what's the thing you put over the threshold? Is that what it's called? Like sometimes you do it. Sometimes I look at these Muslim wedding, and I think I'm watching what's that video? The remix of "Let's Get Married" with that Jagged Edge with Run DMC, Run, right? Let's get married. You know that song, right? They do the wedding. A lot of these Muslim weddings look like that, or a lot of our Christian family weddings. Like the sister will have a white overgarment on, and usually it'd be tight as I don't know what, right? You know, cup size and everything, right? And it might even have the long trail thing, right? The brother might have on whatever he has on. You might even have flower girls. What you call them, girls? That's what it's called,
flower girls. Yeah, flower girls.
What's all the women that's down with the woman in a Christian wedding? What's they called? Maids of honor?
Maids of honor.
In the Muslim wedding might have that. You know how they take the picture? They have the bride here, then all the maids of honor there, then the groom there, the best man, all that. It'd be Muslim weddings like that. So that'd be a one extreme, right? Then the other extreme, right? It don't be no ceremony. It'd be like in the basement, the unfinished basement of the masjid, right? Not even, you know, our masjid movement, like our basement, right? Parts of it is finished now. Those of you who go to Masjid Bookman, you know what I'm talking about, right? Not the wudu station bathroom part, not the part next to it, not the part that we made for the Hafiz, the other part that's still unfinished. The marriage happened there.
That's not funny.
Next to the furnace, right? Next to the furnace in the winter. So this is time to recite Surah Ali Imran, the furnace kick on. Boom. Right? The marriage take place there with as little people as possible. Come on, just me and you. Now we need a couple witnesses. Huh? All right, man. All right, call a brother. Oh, there's a brother praying. Hold up. Wait till we finish. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Yo, Aki, you don't go nowhere. We need you for a wedding. Come right? Come over here, right? Random brother coming, right? This is the type of weddings we do. And like literally weddings happen like that. I'm exaggerating, being funny, talk about the unfinished part of the basement. But our wedding, a lot of our weddings be like that. We be in the masjid, a brother popping like Kazoo from the Flintstones. You remember Kazoo? The little space dude? Giving Fred all this bright advice, right? I used to love the Flintstones when I was growing up. Giving Fred all this bright advice, then Fred get in trouble for following advice. Kazoo ain't never around. As soon as the problem come, ding, here go Kazoo. How you doing, Fred? Right? Brother pop up at the masjid like Kazoo. Bing. Hey, Imam around, can I get married? Right? We do the wedding, right? We trying to, okay, stick around, brother. Where the sister at? Oh, right here. All right, yeah, come. We need 2 witnesses. All right, man, ain't nobody here. Oh, there go, brother. He about to make. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Wa alaikum salam. You about to pray? All right, I need to holler at you when you finish praying, right? So you scheming on the waiting for him to finish his salat. You finished? No, I was just making 2 rakas. I got to pray. Oh, okay, go ahead, bro. All right, go ahead. Right? As soon as he finished praying, hey, listen, we about to do this nikah, right? We need witnesses. We need you to stay right here. All right, cool. Right? Yeah, I do it. Yeah, alhamdulillah. All right, well, one down now. Maybe somebody else come and make prayer. Right? Then the next brother comes through, right? They've got another. We got her. All right? Yeah. So alaikum salam. We got a wedding to do. We got nikah. I don't know about doing the wedding. Come on, man. Listen, man. We've been waiting here for 2 witnesses for like an hour. Come on, man. Right?
Stop right there. Stop right there. Don't go. Don't stop right there.
Okay.
Now look at that whole scenario. Look at that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody doing any due diligence. Who said that person is a Muslim? That's there praying. You got people coming to the masajid all the time. They may be popo, looking like a Muslim.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about this person's character.
You just took it in a whole nother direction.
I'm just saying, like you don't even know this person. We gotta vet people.
Yeah, but this stuff even happens, even like you got an imam like me that's going to vent and vet, like at least, because like a lot of times people be like on you, like, imam, what's up? I talked to you about the wedding on Wednesday and you ain't get back to me yet. Like, Aki, it's Thursday, huh? I've been waiting to get married for a long time. I don't know that. You just brought it to me on Wednesday. It's Thursday. How am I supposed to know, right? We can check you out. So you rush in and like you see the brother, he like, he want to ask you about, did you check my references yet? Right? Like, brother, breathing down your neck, right? And so even if everything checks out, okay, you're gonna do the wedding, all right. It's always like, okay, alhamdulillah, everything checks out. When can we get married? Like, what day you want to do it? Last week? Huh? Right? Like, as soon as possible. Okay, alhamdulillah. Well, how about at Juma? Oh, I won't be able to make it to Juma, right? You got to say Juma because you want witnesses, right? Like, so like everybody don't go to way. Whoa, alhamdulillah, we got a nikah we need to do. We got some witnesses. Okay, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, right? It'd be like that, right? So the point is, we be doing these weddings, however it turn out, right? Most of us either look Christian or the imam's office is planned. Okay, you got, the imam there, wali, 2 witnesses, you sign a certificate, everybody signs, alhamdulillah, wedding is done, you go away. That's not like too much of a special occasion. That's like an appointment at like the WIC office or something. That's the welfare office, right? All right. You don't have all your documents. Where's the social security card for little Abdullah? I didn't see it here. Okay, you need to bring that to me before we can give you these benefits, right? That's how the wedding be, right? Right? It'd be like formal, right? Then, alhamdulillah, if the marriage is good, it lasts, right? A lot of times a woman will think back, like, especially if they witness a wedding, right? A halfway decent wedding. They gonna think about, man, yeah, I remember I got married. Yeah, I do remember how I got married. It's in the imam's office with 3 other people, and that's it. No food. I didn't even get a walima. Right? That's how our weddings be, half of them, right?
Right.
And a lot of times, that's bothersome from sisters. Having a nice wedding, when I say nice wedding, I don't mean like the first example. I'm having a nice wedding where it's in an event, an occasion, is not against the sunnah. Like I was talking in my Wathiqatul Ikhwan class, all other cultures, right, have a nice ceremony for women to get married when the marriage is happening. In most cultures, right, like a lot of us, we think that the groom and the bride need to be there. Neither one of them have to be there, right, Islamically. The nikah can be taken at place at the masjid. The groom don't need to be there, and the bride don't need to be there, Islamically, right? And a lot of cultures, they ain't there, especially the bride. The groom may be there, maybe not, right? Their representatives are there. And in most cultures, the women are literally partying. The bride is getting pampered. She's getting all kind of fancy makeup, manicure, pedicure, just all types of oud, the good smell, smoke, all that. She's getting all that, the treatment, eating nice food and desserts. The elders in the family, in the community are giving advice and wisdom to the new bride to be. All of this stuff is going on, sisters only. And the sisters are having a good time. The technicalities is taking place in the masjid. Like I mentioned before, in Gambia, I don't know if you was listening to this part of the show. See, you wasn't there when Fatima got married, right? Fatima was getting married, right? Our daughter Fatima, she was getting married, right? Normally in Gambia, the women are somewhere doing something else, right? And so we in the masjid doing the wedding, Dullah's family, Imam, myself, right? And the way they do it in Gambia is like You got the bride's family there, and the bride and people's talking about the good family she comes from, and this, that, all this kind of stuff. And then you got the same thing with the groom's family, and they're testifying. We would call it in this culture testifying. Like you go to church, you testify. Gambia weddings, they have testifications. Family members testify on the good upbringing, on the good family, and all that kind of stuff, right? So you got a few people testifying from each side of the family, right? Alhamdulillah. So we doing Fatima's wedding. I look at the back door of the masjid. I see Fatima standing there. I go to the back, I'm like, yo, what you doing here? She's like, I'm seeing my wedding. I'm like, you ain't supposed to be here, man. She's like, hey, I'm good. I was like, Negro, American, Negroes, man. So, but the point is, the dowries exchange and all that kind of stuff. Then brothers hang out, have a good time, eat, whatever like this. And the women is partying. The women having a real party. They dressed up, food, everything, getting pampered and all that kind of stuff. Right? And you was about to say something?
Yes, I was about to say something. Like, look at that. That's Islamic. The women separate from the men, right? And you have this, and I got this shaitan in my room, this fly, he's gonna bother me. You have this setup where the women are taking care of the bride, making sure. I witnessed not the wedding, but the walima part, what have you. And so the women are getting dressed up, they're enjoying themselves without the men around. The brothers can relax, get good advice from the elders, and that's something that we're missing.
Hey, I need to chime in just for our people can know, because when our daughter got married, we did like half and half, because I was in Gambia when she got the official technical marriage, but Samira wanted to be there, so the next time Samira came back with our daughter Fatima, and then they did the woman part that I described when she was there. So, our daughter got all dolled up and hooked up and all that kind of stuff, and they did it like a traditional ceremony there. I just wanted to add that there.
Yeah, so I did get to and I delivered the bride to her husband, alhamdulillah. I had the honor of that. So just to think about that, that's nice, and to include the elders in our situation, because this is passing the baton, and this is a communal thing. If you remember that the Prophet was selling when he wanted a situation when he got married with Zainab bin Jaysh, right? They had food, you know what I mean? And she wasn't in the area, right? And there was adab regarding that, like he was ready for them to be out, right? Because I could assume he wanted to join his wife. He just got married. But
that's when the ayats of hijab were revealed. That's what you're talking about.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And so, there's food, you can enjoy yourself. So, sisters, if there's a brother that you're interested in, and he's going this route of like, don't want nobody to know, don't want to make it a big deal, those are red flags. You may say, well, he don't like all of that. But if you want to have something memorable, that's what I want. Don't you want me to be happy? And we forget, like, when people go through things in their marriage, what's the first thing that they are asked? What got y'all together? What made you fall in love with this person? What made you feel like they was a good fit? You go back to how y'all met, right? And you start reminiscing, and you're like, oh yeah, I do remember that. I remember when we was here and we was walking here, but if you all in the dungeon of a basement or in a corner or whatever having your nikah, you're like, dang, he was my pimp. The Wally was my pimp, right? Just look at the scenario. Look at the scenario. Dad, that was like some street stuff, like some niggerism going on.
I now pronounce thee, you feel me, you dig? I now pronounce thee man and wife. You know what I'm saying? You dig?
So, you know, like so we like shortchange ourselves. And you know, everybody's different, but we gotta establish a culture amongst us as Black Americans, and that Black American Muslim, so that we can feel whole. We got pieces here and there we still trying to retrieve. We got Islam, alhamdulillah. We got Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat, right? We still trying to, trying to retrieve, what was right was wrongfully taken from us, right? We trying to still, trying to retrieve all these things to make us whole. And so with that, it's the culture part. Because the culture was stripped from us as well. To the point that people don't even want to acknowledge that they came from somewhere else. This is not where where you started. It's not where your lineage started. It started way before this, where we were kings and queens with lots of riches. Was from honorable families, upright, hardworking, courageous. This is the lineage that we come from. But we've been cut off. We don't even recognize that that's what we should, how we should carry ourselves. And so we feel like I was saying before, we want to assume other cultures, and we want to make that part of us because we don't know who we are, or you don't feel you don't know the value of it, or don't know too much of it to be, confident about that. And it's sad. What you about to say, Habibi?
No, when you was talking to me, I was thinking, like, how we meet, like how we hook up, not me and you, but like how people hook up nowadays. They meet however they meet, usually like on social media. They start talking for a week or two, and now they ready to rush get married and stuff like that. That ain't happening over there. And if it does happen, it's somebody that's like disconnected from her family, and she's like maybe over here doing her own thing, or just like cut off from her family. You're not going to meet someone one day and then marry them next week. That ain't happening. There's a whole bunch of even if the parents are dead, there's uncles and aunties got to meet you. They gonna size you up, like get some information about you, and then sign off on it. Like, yeah, okay, like just that alone. Like, if you meet a sister from the continent, I don't care if she's on social media, I don't care if she don't have she's not strong on her deen. Maybe she's showing you more than she should show on social media. You get at her in her inbox, and let's say she entertain you, right? And y'all talk about marriage. You're gonna be passed off to a male family member. That wedding is not happening next week. I guarantee you. I don't care if she's living in America, right? It's not happening like that. Because if she was to do it that way, 9 times out of 10, she will be an embarrassment to her family. So, what you a hoe? They be like, what you a hoe now? Like, what you went to when America became a hoe? Like, who does that, right?
Family is everything. We have to involve our families. That was another thing that you mentioned. Like, we feel like because we Muslim, our non-Muslim family members don't play a part. Those are people that you grew up with. If you have a relationship, some of us don't have a relationship. But just say the ideal situation, you still have, relations with your family members. If you're getting married, wouldn't you want them to be there? That's like dawah. We be like compartmentalize things. That could be a way of giving dawah so they can see how, Muslims get married. See how the simplicity and how we always bring Allah into this, into the equation. And to, remind us of why we're here and who brought us together. And so we X out our family members, and that's you cutting off, you cutting yourself off. And when that is not something that this deen propagates. And that's why, it's so important to know your deen. You got to know what you're supposed to believe and how you're supposed to conduct yourself in that belief. And I don't want to throw names out there, but you have people that say because your family's Kafir, they're not Muslim, you cut them off because they're not part of your group. They're not Muslim like you. What kind of deen is that? The Prophet ﷺ didn't cut off his non-family members. He didn't cut off Abu Talib. That was his confidant. That was his rider. Like, even though he didn't take his shahada, he was there for his nephew. He'll say, nah, uncle, you're not Muslim. You can't help me. You know? But we do opposite, but we're on the sunnah. We're about to say it. We're more on the sunnah than anybody else. And then you have all these broken families, and then these non-Muslims looking at you crazy or any other Muslim crazy, like they weird. They don't value family or anything.
That's deep. That's deep because before I took Shahada, the way we looked at Muslims were serious about family and children and everything like that. Nowadays, the way non-Muslims look at us, they look at us like we don't care nothing about family. We just, we don't, marriages don't mean nothing to us because we just get married and divorced real quick, and then, they don't even have marriage ceremony. They just go and come out married. They weird. That's where they see us now. It's amazing. I've been Muslim about 30 years. 30 years is not a long time to see how much this thing has flipped. Because I was a non-Muslim. I know how we looked at Muslims. They serious about family, protecting their family, children, raising their children, being able to respecting the women, protecting the women. That's how Muslims were known from non-Muslims, right? Now, right, it's complete opposite.
We got all types of shenanigans going on. So we have to develop this culture within our marriage, the ceremony, so that we can harness that spiritual energy that is received and that could be felt.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brother, my elder, my confidant, Dr. Sabir.
Alhamdulillah. We cut ourselves off, and then when we're told about something that's not haram, it's haram, and it don't make no kind of sense. We was talking about common sense. Everything is not just tangible, like you can touch it and see it. There's things that you have to believe that you can't see. Surah Baqarah, right? Allah tells us in the first few lines, this is the book, there's no doubt. Right. Who believe in the unseen. Unseen, you don't see. There's things that you gotta believe that's unseen. And we have been cut off by those that look like us who follow a doctrine that is no different than white supremacy. And the ones that sin it can't even see that. So that's why we don't have a culture as African Americans or black, however label you want to use. Because we don't want to look too black when we do it, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the other extreme. I ain't trying to be no Arab. You're not trying to be an Arab when you practicing this thing. Allah didn't require you to be an Arab to be a Muslim. I don't know where you get that from, but you have other black Muslims that say that. Why are you trying to be Arab? We so smart that we don't have common sense. Let's see here.
What do you think of marrying someone of like status or level? For instance, a knowledgeable person or someone who seriously studies marry someone who isn't very learned and it doesn't work out because the other party isn't really serious about learning. Any thoughts on this? I agree with what you said. I mean, meaning I agree with what I think you're getting at. I think people should marry people on the same status or levels. I think this is one of the things that's underlying a lot of why our marriages aren't working, because we marry and we don't think like this. And so, for instance, we marry someone who looks attractive to us, but they ain't on Dean like we on Dean. And it shows out. Different problems keep popping up because they're not on the same level. I mean, yeah, it's called compatibility.
Exactly.
And we don't, and because our, you know, we don't really have a culture. We have a subculture that's been, force fed to us that we call culture, right? These culture usually has this type of stuff built in because the family will know this person was raised to be a student of knowledge. Like, for example, it's normal for a lot of kids in country. I keep saying Gambia because I go there the most, but Gambia is not the only place, right? Muslim African countries where it's normal for the parents to send the child to some form of Quran school early on. Even if the parent is secular, Western minded, and they want to be in America or they want to be in, Europe someplace, even a lot of those parents, even their children may be in some type of Quran school for at least for a couple of years, right? And then they may take them out of that school and put them in a Western school where they learn in English and they learning this and they learning that and everything, right? That's why a lot of them that you see over here that were brought up like that, they're professional. They may have good job. They came over here for education. Even that person will know a lot of Quran because they got a few Jews while they were still little. Likewise, in those same places, you got some parents that will put their children in Quran school and leave them there until they finish. And then when they finish Quran, or while they're almost finished Quran, they'll put them in Arabic school so they'll learn Arabic. And then sometime later, like the child may be an upper teenager or even in their 20s, still going to grade school because the parents emphasize Islamic learning and then put them in grade school where they learn English and math and all of these other things, right? And so when you go into those cultures, people will be like, okay, this child his parents, wanted him to be a scholar, student of knowledge, whatever. They're going to be paired with somebody like that 9 times out of 10. No, she was brought up the same way. They're going to click. You take that child that was brought up and educated, and their parents were religious, and all their education was religious, and you put that person with somebody whose parents were juniorified, and they just did Quran when they was real little, and they were being sent to school to schools and had an education that was more Western minded and putting the deen on the back burner and just more concerned with this dunya. You put them together, it ain't gonna work out. See, the thing with those different cultures is that it's clear what path the parents put their children on and how they was raised. For us, it's not clear like that because we all just like hodgepodge. It's like just throw it up, see where it lands. Some of us took Shahada. We're motivated by religion. Some of us, we took Shahada. We're like just a bare minimum. I ain't all in it like that. I'm with this. And then we put those two types of people together. They don't work out. They're not motivated by the same thing. They bump heads on so many different things because their mindset, their thinking is wrong. And it's hard to detect that a lot of times because you take, for example, the religious brother, he's in the masjid, he's in the classes. The sister, she's not religious. For example, hypothetically, it could be vice versa, right? But you put her, she's looking to get married. She's trying to get married to a Muslim. She's not too religious, but where's she going to look for a Muslim husband at? In the masjid, right? Or now we're in social media time in Muslim groups, Muslim Facebook, right? Or whatever. So she's going to go there. And so she's in a religious space. So you're going to assume that she's just as religious as you. You met her at class. You met her after Juma. You met her after Walima, right? When you get married, then you find out, she was just really coming around to get married. She didn't really care about all this religious knowledge and all that kind of stuff. And so that's why I'm saying make it a little bit different for us. But yeah, compatibility. SubhanAllah. You was about to say something? I'm sorry.
Yes, I was going to say again, the culture for African American Muslims should be about, should have acquiring deen, wanting to learn the deen, as you have described. That should be part, that should be built in already. That's our culture. Like, we should be known as a group that learns. They use their akal, they use their, intelligence, their common sense. You understand? These things that Allah, gave us. But this society doesn't promote seeking knowledge. And the knowledge that is seeking is really selfish that they promote. It's only to make they want you to learn certain things so you can be under their thumb. You working for them, you slaving for them, while you acquiring, loan on top, all these school loans that you, for a degree that you may not even be able to use when you get out. And there's no guarantee, right? Because everybody's getting a degree. So what differentiates each one of y'all? So the culture of learning should be in place. That's why it's so important that we propagate community as African Americans, because it'll cut down on the nonsense. You won't have those situations, that you describe. Hurry up and just get married. Nobody will be able to just come into an institution talking about, I want to get married. Nobody know you, but they just marry you just because you say your name is, Amatullah and Abdullah. That's it. That's all the credentials that you gave them. And this will cut down on that nonsense because you have vetted the people. And because we don't vet, people think I'm grown. Who are you to be, worrying about my business? Your business is everybody's business. The deen is not an individual thing. There's individual things that you got to know for yourself that you have to honor, like the Fard Kifaya. Fard Ain. That's something as an individual you're supposed to know, and that's like rudimentary thing. It's not high knowledge. How to pray fast, perform Hajj, those things, that's rudimentary. Some of us think that's high knowledge. That's not high knowledge. That's the bare minimum, right? We don't even have that. And so when you have someone that is serious about their deen, serious about acquiring knowledge, there's an adab in acquiring knowledge that we don't know. There's an adab how you supposed to treat your teacher. We don't know. We only know what we see in the classroom. The teacher's in the front. Everybody sitting in front of them. Gotta raise your hand when it's time to be spoke. When it's your time to speak. You're not allowed to question. You're not allowed to think. You just taking in all this information, and then you just repeat it back. And that's education, right? But with the deen, it's more than that. Yes, it's repetition. But this repetition is to help you to refine yourself. This is to help you to get close to Allah. This is to help you to be able to have sustainable families when you do get married, because you'll already know what you're supposed to do. This should be the culture amongst African American Muslims. But the way we treat it like it's what's that thing called? A drive-by. You have drive-by marriages. You know how the car comes down the street? Drive-by. Before that car hit the next corner, you divorce. That's how our marriages be. It approach, and just as soon as it's you off the block, the marriage is gone. It's over.
Yeah, that's a good parable. Drive-through marriage. Like back in the days, drive-throughs only had one window. You go through drive-throughs now, you got 2 or 3 windows. You got one, you pull up to the first window, it's the menu and stuff. Assalamu alaikum. This is Masjid such and such. How may I take your order? I like one nikah. Yeah, that's it. I just take one nikah. Okay, that'll be 2 witnesses and a wali and a dowry. Drive through the next window, please. All right, thank you a lot. You go to the next window, right? Well, some of the masters be like, well, Where's the two witnesses? Well, we ain't got that. I take the one witness you got. You got no dowry. You going to pay that later? All right. Well, I take that too. All right. All right. All right. Go to the next window. All right. Recite some ayats, whatever. Right. And then you leave the drive-through marriage, thinking you married, and then just like people do when they eating food in their car and they finish with the wrapper, they throw it out. So by the time they hit the next corner, they throw the marriage out. Oh, I smashed. It's over with. Good. Alhamdulillah. Right.
That's how we treat it. And so, when y'all was talking about, and not everybody's in agreement, but this flew over everybody's head. When Imam Amin mentioned that $5,000 dowry, it was not about the money. It had nothing to do with the money. Everybody was focused on 5Gs. It wasn't about the 5G. It was about how serious you are to marry this person. That's it. It had nothing to do with the money. Because if you don't have it, you don't have it. But if you're serious, then you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that marriage works. You understand? And so we have to we got to value ourselves. We don't love ourselves.
They eating before they get to the drive-through.
Yeah, people eat before they even left the parking lot. Look, the person that's about to deliver it then ate a piece of it, then deliver it to you. How about that? Right? Right? So we don't even love ourselves. We don't like to admit, but as a people, as a whole, we don't value ourselves like other groups do. Other groups, they don't allow certain things to happen to them like we allow it. For instance, I saw a video that the Proud Boys came into Philly to do a protest. They came in some Penske trucks. I forgot how many trucks. It was a whole bunch of trucks. It was a clip that I saw. And I heard somebody was like, get the mother out of here. They were just yelling and filming that the Proud Boys was sitting there, trying to, do their thing. And so it was just amazing that was it. So I was asking, what is Philadelphia known for? A lot of killings, right? What are they killing with? Guns. Who are they killing? Themselves, right? Now these people coming in here, I'm not propagating and I'm just inciting any violence. I'm not inciting that. So don't twist my words. Those same guns that you turn on yourself and kill a fellow Muslim, because it's mostly Muslims that's doing this. You got somebody here that's threatening your safety. Why are you not turning the gun at them so they can leave? Why are you not turning that gun at them to make sure that they don't come back? You have a right to defend yourself. This common sense. There's no common sense anymore. No common sense. And so you have these situations when you're supposed to stand up, you don't stand up. But when you do stand up, it's not when you're supposed to stand up. We got it backwards. No common sense. No other group allow certain things to happen to them like as a group of African Americans. You may want to be in denial. You may want to, whatever. We can agree to disagree. But why is it that we don't have nothing in place for us as a group, as African Americans? And I'm including everybody, Muslims, non-Muslims. African Americans. Why is it that we try to come together as African Americans and everybody other than the African Americans and those that hate themselves? Why you got to call it African American? Why you got to call it black? Why it can't just be we all get along? Yet you have all these groups and they have their labels and it's no problem. Nobody say nothing. Well, why they call Latinas and why they call Jewish or why they call Filipinos or why they call Chinese? Why they call Japanese? Why they call British? Whatever. Wherever you come from, we don't say nothing. But when we try to come together and inform ourselves, it's a problem. And then we get scared because we feel like we're not supposed to do that. Like it's wrong. Like it's a crime. And the powers that may be that Allah allows, that's their intention. They don't want you to empower yourself. They want you to be scared to come together and organize and pull your resources together and build institutions so that your children can be able to benefit from them. They put fear in our hearts to be able to do that. There's going to be people that's going to come in to infiltrate. That happens all the time. Look at Fred Hampton with the Black Panthers. That brother was speaking fire. They had to kill him because he was speaking the truth. He was empowering the people. They was feeling it. And so they inject that fear so you don't move. You don't do nothing. Well, let me just, be cool. Let me just be a quiet Muslim and just pray my prayers, and then that's it. So they don't bother me. They're going to bother you anyway. They're going to bother you anyway. We are supposed to stand up for what is right or wrong all of the time. There is no time off. There is no time off. We got to get that fear out of our hearts. We're scared. We are scared. And we try to use these excuses. Oh, the women, they this. You're a man. You're supposed to stand up and protect us. Protect the communities. Men, that's your job. Allah says, Al-Rijala Kawamuna Ala-Nisa. You're the protectors and maintainers of the women. Not because you earned that honor. It's because Allah gave it to you. That means you have an accountability for that. Whether you want to or not, you got to be a man. And women, you got a role to play too. You are their supporters. You got to fight just as hard as he does. And play your role like you're supposed to, what Allah has allowed us. And this is not because we're less or anything like that. Allah made us different. Men and women are different. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Sophia. Sister Miriam said, we'd rather get Master's good graces to get good treatment instead of joining together and treating our own with the respect they deserve. Exactly. Master is not giving you good. It's not even treating you good. It's scraps. He giving you crumbs and you're happy. You know what I did today? I got a raise. And you at a job and you have other people there that's like you. And because Master is so comfortable with you, he talking all types of trash about somebody from your group. And you don't say nothing because you got a raise. This is how we do. We shouldn't be doing that. We won. We are one. We should not be comfortable that our brother and sisters is down and out. We should not be comfortable that we have Muslims, men and women with the wrong Aqidah. We should not be comfortable that our children are out here being slaughtered. They're being turned out. They're being turned against their fitra. We should not be comfortable with that because we're scared. We're scared. We're scared to die. When you build something, when you believe in something, you just got to assume that you may die over this. You may die. Or you may be locked up and tortured. You got to assume that you stand up for your people, that something's going to happen to you. And you should be okay with that. Well, I'm not scared. Allah got me. Allah got me. I trust in Allah. He knows my heart. He knows that I'm trying to do the best that I can. Ain't nothing that these people can do anything to me. They can't do nothing to me that ain't written already. That's how our mindset, but we're scared. We are scared. And it's preventing us from moving forward. When you get that fear in your heart and you feel it, just be honest. I'm scared, but I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to build this institution. I'm going to roll with the Black Imams Roundtable. I'm going to roll with the brothers and sisters that's trying to stand up for what's right and try to save their children and grandchildren. I'm going to do it. I'm scared, but I'm going to do this. That's how you're supposed to be. They lied when teaching us history, got us thinking white people are so smart because their inventions, stolen inventions and discoveries, taking everything we got and then around asking, why are you dumb? And we think we're not good enough. We have to work extra hard as African American, blacks, whatever label you want to call you. That's just the way it is. We have to work extra hard. We got to do extra things to make sure that we are included. We can't just do anything. We can't do what the next person does. That's just how it is. It's not right, but it is. We're not equals. I don't care what company you belong to. You might be one or two of y'all or whatever. You're a token. They had to hire you. It's in the law books. If they don't hire a certain amount of, African Americans or blacks or Hispanics or whatever, non-white, that they can get fined. Did you know that? This not because you had earned it. They got to, if they want to keep their business afloat. That's why we got to open up our own businesses, be in control of our own resources. Then you ain't got to worry about that. Then you know it's for you. And that's something to be proud of. Our children are raised to be lazy. They don't even want to work. Think about the economy now. There's so many jobs out here. I've never seen so many jobs out there. So anybody that said there's no job is a liar. Because people don't stay in them. These young people do not want to work. They were taught to be lazy and conditioned. Just wait for my order and that's all that you follow. And they're like zombies. Like, okay, I'm only going to follow what is told to me. That's how they're like dumbed out. They're afraid to work. I seen a meme talking about if you gave a young person a job to lay down, they'll get up and say, I quit. This is the next generation. So what are you building? Here at Masjid Al-Mu'min, we're building a community. Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City, they're building a community. Masjid Kuba in Camden, building a community. Are you supporting these institutions as well as others? Are you supporting them? Are you giving your money to these institutions so that they'll be there when your children get older? Or you don't care? Well, they grown up. If they're not Muslim, oh well, I don't care about that. I don't care. I don't care about that. But some of us don't care. Some of us don't. We're like parasites. We're just here for the ride. It feels good, but we have no intentions of building. None. And you're going to have that. Everybody got their roles. People complain like, oh, we're trying to build, and this person is starting trouble, or this person is that. That's their role. That's their role. That is their role. You're going to have that. Every organization that built themselves has some antagonizers. They had antagonizers. But what you do? Just stop? You keep moving. You keep pushing. But you got to get that fear out your heart. If you can't get the fear out your heart, just say, okay, I'm scared, but I'm going to do this. And I'm going to be with those that are with me. So they won't be as scared. And it's okay. You scared? We all scared. Because these people that is in power, they have no mercy. And we give them more power than they deserve. Only Allah have all power. He's all powerful. And if you know your Akida, the correct belief about Allah, when you have that correct belief, and that's where we've been sabotaged. Because you were told that Allah is in a place. He's up, he's down, he's everywhere. He's in you. He got feet, toes, a butt, chin, eyes, face, hands. He go up and down in the middle of the night. This is the God that they've given you. That's not our God. Our God is different from us. All powerful, all knowledgeable. Nothing can make him do a thing, and nothing can not allow him to do anything. He don't need us. He don't need anything. When you think about Allah like that, your whole mindset is going to change. That fear is going to leave you. You're going to realize that.
Yes, sir.
You're going to realize, why am I afraid?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make Salat, right, y'all.
Tell it like it is. You did it again. You're just going to roll out. Let me see what my brother said. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. When I got hemmed up by the feds in 2012, many Muslims came out publicly wishing to distance themselves from me until the Kufar released that film, which was showing my innocence, and that many non-Muslims supported me and my release. At that point, many Muslims came out the woodwork wishing to now publicly support me. This shows that we suffer from inferiority complex. Of course, and I speak for everyone, there was Muslims that supported me from the very beginning. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Ameen, 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 ameen. We are supposed to stand up for what is right or wrong all of the time. There is no time off. Alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters, the main point, the main thing that we wanted to bring to the table to show to us is that for the African American, I hate that term, for the Black Muslim community here in America, a lot of times we be cheating ourselves out of certain aspects of the deen. Today we're talking about marriage and how a lot of times we don't have marriage ceremonies because when you have a culture, certain things automatically come with it. You know that if you come from X, Y, Z culture, when you get married, you do X, Y, and Z things. We don't have that. And so a lot of times, many of us, because of that loophole in our situation, and I'm not saying that we do this consciously with ill intent. I'm not saying that. But a lot of us, I don't know what other way to say, a lot of us are bottom feeders. You know, we have low vibrations. I mean, we try to do the least all the time. And it shows up in our marriages. We try to do the least. It is you marrying someone and you trying to do the least that you can to make her happy. That makes no sense. The least, not the most, not the best of your ability, the least, the bare minimum. And it shows. And we have to make sure that when we recognize that someone's moving on that level, it's about us as family, we have to remind them and, at least as far as marriage is concerned, keep them a little distance away until they get their mind right. And there are a lot of masjids who are not on code. A lot of communities are not on code. A lot of communities, we talking all of this and, you would think it would be common sense. For example, you know that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, when a person comes to you, someone who you're pleased with their deen and their character, marry them. And تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَخُلُقَهُ فَزَوِّجُوهُ, marry them. إِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, and if you don't, there will be fitnatul fil ard, corruption in the earth, wa fasadun arid, and widespread corruption or deterioration of the situation. And what I notice is that a lot of people focus on the last part of the hadith and kind of like gloss over the first part. They'll say, Imam, you should be trying to encourage marriage, not trying to put up obstacles in the way of marriage. Didn't the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that it's going to be corruption in the earth and widespread, chaos if you don't marry? Yeah, but what did he say first? إذا كتب رجل من ترضون دينه وخلقه, right? Someone who comes to you and you're pleased with their deen and their character. You will be surprised of how many people come to all of these different masajid and they're not known to the people of the masajid, of that masjid. So how in the world can they vouch for or know anything about their deen or their character? You just showing up like you at a drive-through. Someone who you're pleased with their deen and their character. We don't know you. You just popped up. That part of the hadith, we forget about that. And then many of us who are part of a community, when it comes time to get married, they act like they're not part of the community. That's our situation a lot of times. And this is because we don't have a culture. There's no punishment. There's no social reprimand for behaving that way. So the person can just step off and fade back a little bit and pop up with a wife. And he's part of your family. He's part of your community. Any place else that wouldn't even be acceptable. People will look at you like you crazy. How you come up with a whole new husband, a whole new wife? Nobody even knows what's going on here. And he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wasn't just marrying anyone off to everyone who came to him. We skip over that reality. And it's really these other these communities masters that's not on code. It's their fault. Because the brothers and sisters that's part of a community choose to do that, they know what they're doing. They operating sneaky and slick like that for a reason. The communities where people just pop up and they just marry them, they're the problem. They don't ever ask, what masjid y'all go to? Or we don't go to a masjid. Or where you live at, right? They don't ask like these basic questions. You just show up, poof, like a zoo. Hey, marriage. All right, sure. How may I help you, right? They don't ever ask these questions. And almost without fail, almost all the time, not every time, there's exceptions, but almost every single time, that brother, that sister who faded off to the background, went did their little snake lizard thing and got married over there, when they got problems, they don't slither back to where they got married at. No, they bring it home to the imam who didn't even know they was getting married in the first place. Imam, I need help, counsel. No, my wife acting up. My husband acting up. And there's no shame. People will do that with a straight face. Like, why are you tripping? Why you got an attitude? Just because I didn't come to you to get married in the first place. They look with a straight face like, what's your problem? Why you mad? The people operating on such a low vibration, they don't know the harm they're doing to the community just by their actions. They're not only harming themselves, they're harming the community, they're harming unborn children just by acting like that. And we're living during a time period of extreme ignorance of the deen. Most of the people don't even know the basics of doing what they're doing. I'm talking about us that are trying to be good Muslims. Most of us don't know how to even correct our prayer. We getting married all these times. Most of us don't know what makes up a valid marriage, but we getting married all these times. And we don't think it's important to learn about marriage. Learn about divorce. This is the state of most of us. I get scared every time a situation comes across me. Because I'm like, okay, I got to dig into this situation. It's a 50-50 chance when I start digging, this marriage that I'm counseling or dealing with wasn't even valid in the first place. 50-50 chance. Get real shaky out here. what if we were the type of people that took our deen seriously and we would learn about these things, before we get into it, we will be able to handle our situation properly. And we will protect ourselves and our children, and our marriages will be better in the first place. See, our situation, as we used to say, is the Wild Wild West. In the Wild Wild West, there's no laws. Or even if there is laws, there's no one there to enforce it. There's no repercussions for not adhering to it. But in other places, there is. And I'm not talking about necessarily government, just culturally. If you violated some of these norms, you'd be like an outcast. You back.
What were you talking about?
It don't matter what I was talking about. See, you back now. And I'm gone.
I just wanted to
You can wrap it up because you were doing most of the talking and you started, so we ain't going to keep you tonight.
No,
it's been an hour and 41 minutes and you've been talking most of that time. So I'm done.
Okay. Listen, whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to recap when I left, what I said. Just enough with this. We don't hate anybody because we want to love ourselves and build our own institutions. That don't mean you hate other people. That means you love yourself enough to know that this is necessary. So don't get it twisted because we, specifying African Americans, blacks, whatever label you want to call yourself, separate from other people. There's other ways of working with other people. That's a given. That's far in between. It's so many opportunities for that. But there's not too many institutions, especially for African American Muslims here in America. Here in America, that is self-sustaining, that benefits the Ummah, the African Americans as a whole, that we're benefiting from, that allow us to be self-sustaining ourselves as individuals, as communities and families. Like there's much wealth that we have in this country. I'm talking about amongst African American Muslim. There should be no reason that Muslims are still needing sadaqah. The Beitul Mal should be filled. There should be excess of jobs, opportunity for jobs, skill attainability, all of that, just amongst us. Because we are smart, we're intelligent people. And we love hard. We love hard to a fault. We love everything else but ourselves. And we love everybody else so much that we neglect ourselves where we don't have anything to say, this is what we built. And this is something that's helping the community at large. So I just wanted to put that out there. And the second thing, not inciting violence. Okay? Not inciting violence. But if we turn to guns are used to fend off, right? The perpetrator. These people are in your hood, I'm talking about Philly, in your hood, with signs of hatred. And y'all allowing that. And y'all over here killing each other over a block that you don't even own. Not to mention the gentrification that's going on in these black neighborhoods, driving up the price of these houses, driving up your rent. You can't even afford to pay for the things that you need, the necessities, because the rent is going up. You can't even live where you used to live. You got to move away. These affect us. These things affect us. But we want to jump on the bandwagon with everybody else. They're building for their communities, generational wealth and all that. Yep. What do we have? What are you building? What are you leaving here for your children? What are you building right now? Where's your money going to right now? Where's your education that you're acquiring? What is it you're going to be using it for right now that's going to benefit the Muslims? That's a serious question. What are you doing? What are you actively doing to build? Well, if you don't know, you have opportunity to build with the Black Imams Roundtable. The Black Imams Roundtable represents us. We're trying to do community of development, economics, establish a legacy, right? We try to ensure that preservation is going on so that our children can benefit. We may not see it in our lifetime, but our children and their children will be able to benefit and pass on this beautiful deen of Islam, the proper deen of Islam with the correct belief, the correct belief system. We got to pass this on. If you don't know how to do it, learn how to do that. Stop being scared. Harness that fear. Let that be your drive. Let that be that thing that makes you do what you do. Oh, I'm scared. All right, so I need to keep pushing harder. Yes. Like they said, no pain, no gain, right? First signs of ache after you exercise, you give up. Oh, I ain't exercise no more. I'm always sore. No, you keep pushing your body. You keep pushing it. And then once you push it, it gets stronger. Nothing gets stronger if it's not worked out, if you don't work it. That means your brain, if you slow, work it. Do some exercise, brain exercises. Get a study partner. Be active in learning. That's the only way you're going to get out this rut. That's the only way we're going to learn. We're going to get out of this rut. Is learn like we're supposed to and be active and intentional with sincerity. And Allah will provide the rest. He will facilitate the rest if that's what He will. But it's about us. We have work to do. So this weekend at the PFR, Post-Fajr Reflections Picnic, this ain't no hangout. We're not going there to hang out. I'm talking about those that ain't been in class. They just happen to hear it. Well, I'm going to AC. They having a cookout. No, we're coming together so that we can celebrate what we have accomplished over the year. That's what we're doing. So by you participating, those that are looking from the outside in, what are you benefiting from going in except to eat off the grill? And that's fine. That's sadaqah for the masjid. But we're here to build. We're here to, brainstorm and strategize where we're going to take this. That's what this barbecue is about. And alhamdulillah that we're able to travel. Allah gave us this opportunity to do this. So I look forward to y'all coming out there. But don't come out there with that nonsense, that nigga stuff.
أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. See, she's still talking. I ain't saying nothing. Y'all heard that, right?
Anyway, I'm inviting.
Hour 47 minutes. Hour 48 minutes.
I just had to close out with those last words. But I hope that this show this week was a benefit, help us to open our eyes. And I know he hating. That's right. He hating.
Nah, see, when Imam Amin be throwing shade to he doing 3 hours trying to compete with Naeem and Samira with the Half Your Dean show, know that he compete with Samira. He the one talking. Yo, Kuba.
Mashallah, but this is, this barbecue is one of many events. Like, they're going to be traveling over the country, establishing, Jamaat with the correct Aqidah, correct belief system. That's the must. That's the priority. We have to have the correct belief about Allah. We have to. Everything else is null and void if that's not correct. If you believe Allah is within you, He's up, He's down, He's everywhere, then you making Him weak. That's not Allah. Allah is not weak. Just think about it. All these human attributes that we attribute, those that attribute, is saying that your God is weak, and my God is not weak. So I invite you, if you're able to go, alhamdulillah. If not, I know you'll be there in spirit. Alhamdulillah, this is for us. Keep us in your du'as, those that are traveling or have already traveled and made it out there already safe. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, keep us in your du'as. Like this is a communal thing. So we're going to close out because I see my light flashing. We had power outage yesterday. There's been people that hasn't had power for like 2 days here in Pittsburgh. And I just saw the lights flash. So we about to be lights out in a minute. SubhanAllah. But with that being said, may Allah, have mercy upon us. May Allah forgive us of all our sins. May Allah heal those that are sick. May Allah heal those that are, going through and give them strength to get through there. May Allah forgive those that are passed on. May Allah have mercy upon them and forgive them their sins. May Allah allow them to enter Jannah without accountability. And may we die as Muslims. And alhamdulillah, it's Juma Mubarak. It's Juma Mubarak. Read Surah Qaf. Send abundant prayers upon the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Make dua for the Ummah, mashallah. And, stay out of trouble, y'all. With that being said, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wala asra innal insana lafi khusra illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, y'all. Those of y'all going to Atlantic City, see y'all there.